Hey there! I was in a mood to mess around a little bit with a blues tune stolen from Alexis Corner, stolen from Miles Davis, turned up on Pentangle's first or second album. I got a feeling. I was just reliving. Actually, I had a student come in this week working on it just because a few weeks ago I put up a few videos of, or put links to a few videos of Pentangle in their early days, 1968, 69. And Jackie is singing this song, and it's so cool because the melody is not really bluesy. It's closer to major, except it's mixolydian. A lot of flatted sevenths in the chords. But anyway, and all of a sudden I got a student working on playing and singing it, and we'll see how it turns out. Especially at camp. She will be at camp, and we'll have a couple of announcements. Wait a minute, slow down. Back in the real world. It is June 14th, Friday. We're halfway through June. It has been a ridiculously hot week here in Northern California. We had probably 3 days in the hundreds, 104. That's 40 to those of you in the rest of the world that use the more logical system. But it was cooking, and so didn't get a lot of playing or even videos done or anything like that. Things have been a little bit on hold here, but did have some fun working with students on some cool things like that. I have a big tip coming up. Working on hammer-ons with bass notes that I'll talk about a little bit at the end today, because that was another issue that we had with that I was working through with a student working on Last Steam Engine Train. So anyway, we'll get to that, hopefully. Actually, no, I don't have a whole lot else to talk about. We had a pretty cool set of songs come out this week, finishing up the week with another Eagles tune. I sometimes throw them in the Neil Young category. It's like, well, we've done a lot of them, but we can still do way more. I think we must have 50 Neil Young songs. We're probably only up to 10 or 15 Eagles tunes, but Vanessa did a fabulous job with The Last Resort, so I hope you have had a chance to check that out. It's only been up for a few hours. Well, it depends. We're running a little late on the news here today, too, so it may be tomorrow by the time you see this. Wait a minute. Can you even say that? You won't see this till tomorrow. No, because if you're seeing it now, nah, never mind. Heading down a rabbit hole that unnecessary there. What else did we have? A little Santana. Max brought us Smooth and Basket Case. A little Green Day. What else went on this week? Oh boy, I'm not prepared for this. Oh, that was so lucky. That's the right two chords. Anyway, we had a 5-pack of Three Dog Night come out, and that made me. I've been listening to them again, and it's really, they are great. It's so fun reliving stuff that is, of course, from my teenagehood, but then things we forget about after a while. So, anyway, if you're an artist pack fan, the Three Dog Night pack is out to go with the other. We must have like 50 of those things by now. So. Let's see. What else did I want to talk about? Oh, question on the forum. Well, that somebody bumped. Silver Eagles. Appreciate your popping that up, because this is the time of year I do get questions about camp. Is IGC for beginners? And we have had a ton of beginners who are no longer beginners because they really got what's the word I'm looking for? But supercharged, expired. By coming to camp and just starting to play songs with people. And this year some changes again are in the offing, where expect to have more time for people, a little less time focused on performing, and if you don't want to play any night, that's fine, but more time playing songs together, sometimes with the guidance of teachers and coaches, and also then more semi-private lesson time to sit down and work on a real specific thing. There will be with our staff of Dave and Doug and Max and Jim and me. So anyway, coming up at the end of September, and of course a month from now. Oh yeah, it's just a month. We could squeeze in 1 or 2 more people. We have 6 people, I think, signed up for the Amsterdam camp. So if you want to have a really concentrated time with me and Vanessa, think about joining the IGC Europe, starting on, I think, is it July 15th? No, it's later. I'm heading out there on the 15th. Going to spend a little time with a long-lost relative. Not long-lost, but we'll be spending a few days in Kalamata, where my good friend and cousin, Vince, has retired. So looking forward to seeing a little bit of Greece this summer. Okay, what else did I want to talk about? I think that's almost it. I had a little weird diversion this week that came about because I had jury duty, and turned out I canceled a few students to make it all happen, and decided, and then it turned out that I didn't get called during the time I had canceled some students, and sat down and watched a movie. I never do this. I had a 3-hour hole in my schedule where I thought, oh shoot, anyway. And it was a movie related to last week. It was A Star Is Born. And I gotta say, I was kind of impressed. Again, movies are not usually my thing, but this was a tearjerker. And boy, the 2 people, Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper, captivating. Anyway, it's a little scary and really sad in spots, but it's the same old story they've been telling in The Star Is Born things forever. Anyway, I encourage you to check it out if you want, but part of my whole heading in that direction was because of last week's lesson on Shallow. Well, okay, I don't need to try to play that again. What I do want to talk about, this week's tip. A lot of people have a lot of problems doing something like this. Now, that's just an E chord, and what I'm doing is hammering on from G to G sharp and landing it with the bass note. And in particular, one of the reasons this is fresh in my head is I had a student here this week that was working on that exact move in the last steam engine train, and was doing something that I had really never seen before in 50 years of teaching. And that was using rest strokes for bass notes. Sometimes a good idea, but if I do it right there, it kills the note I'm hammering on. So what we have to do in there is learn to not use rest strokes in the bass note. Pull your thumb away. That's only a quarter of the problem, maybe half. But another part of this problem is just physically landing a hammer on while you play a bass note. It seems so straightforward on one hand, but on the other, it's psychologically disruptive. It messes with your brain. And so if you have, the usual thing that happens is you either do it too fast and then play the bass note in time, or miss the bass note, move it late. So you want to make sure that the bass note, you've got bass notes going. Play an E chord and start doing that. Then what we're going to do is hit the open G string after we hit the first bass note. In between the bass notes. Bass, thumb, and make sure the G keeps ringing. And then try to hammer it on and make sure they land together. Keep tapping too. Tap your foot. So doing that on an E chord and playing a couple of other notes afterwards as a continuous exercise would be really good. I just did it 3 times in a row, and after every one I played the open B string, third bass note, and started it again. First bass note and again, and then just tie it up with a high E to make it a nice little 2-measure phrase. And you could work on this with different chords. You could do it with A. We don't have a higher note to end on right there, but right there I was hammering on the B to C sharp on the second string using my middle finger. So anyway, that's a good little exercises to get that particular technique down in really good shape. So there you have what I wanted to talk about today. Let's see. Stolen from a lot of things, so if it sounds familiar, it should, but can't pin it down as one particular song. Somehow, this is what the guitar felt like playing right now. Okay, I will be back. Oh, I may not be back next week. Taking a short weekend trip, so if the news doesn't happen, hopefully things will still keep rolling at Totally Guitars, but I will check in and let you know how things are in Seattle. So we're taking a little anniversary trip to Seattle over the weekend. So probably leaving Thursday, I think Friday. So anyway, if I'm gone next week, don't panic. I'll be back the week after, and then pretty soon we're getting on the road for Fear and Loathing in Europe, and we'll see how that goes. Okay, back next sometime soon.